right, man. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone who rule and teach well unto the other Akim out here pushing this truth into the four winds. Keep pushing Akim. We almost out of here, man. And I'm going to basically just go into this lesson on the food stamp fiasco as prophesied in the Bible, where it's leading and where it's ultimately going to go. And without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into the scriptures. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. And I'm going to start up, man. I'm going to start at verse 10. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. So the Lord is putting his spirit out into the world, which is truth, right? And the whole world is starting to see that the so-called white man is a liar, and his educational system is a liar. Everything that he does is a liar, and he's aligned with the devil clearly. He is the devil that the Bible speaks of, okay? But he's also aligned with spiritual Satan. He contacts them, and he talks to the demons, which he calls angels and things of that nature. And they beguile him, they mislead him, and they give him rewards and treats. And they may make him feel like they're the source of his power and he's chosen. They're being fooled. All the while, they fooling the masses, right? Let's keep on going, man. And understand that this enlightenment period was also prophesied in the Bible, that you know we're in the end. The scripture that says in the last days, knowledge shall be increased, right? Let's keep it moving. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So America and the Western world is spiritual Egypt. You know what? Anywhere that an Israelite is serving his beard is spiritual Egypt. But for sure, America, that's the seat of, the devil. So this is Egypt, and it says, I will smite them with plagues as before. Okay? So it lets you know that these people are going to go hungry. Right? Alluding back to food stamps. So they don't grow their own food, but other people do. And the people that do grow the food that's inside of the grocery stores are catching a hard time, fiscally and physically. Let's keep it going. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague, and punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn. These farmers, the farmers are the one that's tilling the ground. And if you pay attention to the news, they are mourning. They're having problems. They're trying to import help. They had to deal with the South African farmers or whatnot, and I think that fell through. In Israel, they just don't want to work for the wages in the sun, okay? Because of what y'all did to us in the past. And because it's just time, bro. Right? They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting in hell and with a fearful constellation. So these food production plants, right? Now this is outside of you being able to afford the food, and we're going to get to that going into food stamps. Right? So it says, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail, and their seeds is going into the production of the food, right? Meat packing companies, the places that do your drinks and all that, just all of your food generally speaking. And these places have been getting raided by ICE, getting illegals. Okay? Everything is coming to pass, man. And he who has a spiritual eye can see it, and he can apply it to the scriptures. Okay. Verse 14. Woe to the world, and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh. So the scripture said we're coming into a time where the sword, basically weapons, guns, right, going to be the theme of the day. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So you're going to have different factions of people fighting against one another. You're going to have ICE versus the Patriots. You're going to have race wars. You're going to have class wars. And as pertaining to this lesson, you're going to have food wars. Okay? The wars. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So the scripture says you're going to come into a period of time where people are going to invade one another, trespass against one another, and ultimately slaughter one another. And the scripture says 911 is not going to intervene. BRPD, state troopers, the FBI, CIA, NSA, none of these people are going to intervene because they're not going to be able to. There's going to be too much going on, and they're going to actually lose control. All right? Keep on going. The course of their actions shall stand in their power. Well, again, to reemphasize, they're not going to be caught, they're not going to be investigated, they're not going to be arrested. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's called martial law. And also just citizens blocking off access to their towns. This isn't going to happen in major cities, but in small rural towns, the outskirts and things of that nature, these people are not going to want their city trash leaking into their towns. And they all know one another, and they're not going to let you in unless you're a landowner or some kind of family member. And even if you're a family member that never comes up there and you're an heir of some land, they're not letting you in. Well, I'm blase blah. Man, we've never seen you turn around. Don't run over here now. You and your trash, turn around. And these are the things that's going to happen, man. Thus saith the Bible. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And you're also going to have outside countries doing operations inside of America. They have sleeper cells. The cities are going to be destroyed. Houses are going to burn. Okay? You're going to have explosions. You're going to have domestic terrorists. You're going to have religious zealots. You're going to have diehard racists. And you're just going to have just straight up crazy people running loose. Bitter baby daddies. Jilted husbands. Somebody that's been on a job for 20 years and don't feel like they got their just due. A neighbor that always hated that neighbor across the street. The guy that got a whole bunch of dogs in his yard, and everybody on that street hates him. Let me just give a couple more examples, bro, because you have to imagine these things, and it has to settle in and be real. That lady, that nosy lady, that nosy old lady that sits on the porch and watches everybody's business and talk about everybody's business, like all of these different people are going to be attacked because they all represent different sexes, and not just that. People are just going to be angry, man. They're really going to want to get at the government, but they're going to get at everybody that they get a chance to get at, man. You watch. Let me keep going. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. It says for because of the lack of bread. That's food, man, and water. So if you have money or if you don't have money, the scripture says you're going to go hungry. If you have Floyd Mayweather money, and he's a pretender, but he still got money, he's going to go hungry just like the people who's losing their food stamp benefits. So a lot of these violent acts, these insurrections, and these different wars It's going to correspond and correlate with a lack of food, with a lack of access to clean food and water. People are going to lose it. They're Americans. They feel so entitled to everything. Just look at how it's going on right now with these food stamps. 1 month that the president says they can't give you a handout, and you're crying like it's the end of the world. Where's your dignity? Where's your pride? Why would you get online and show your face and cry over something that's not even really yours? It's a handout. People had pride about themselves once upon a time, and especially our people. We need our food stamp. That's all we got. I can't work because I got kids. But Esau created you people. These different personalities, these wigs, these blonde hairs, these permed up broads, these Section 8 ladies and babies, these food stamp fools, and all of these child support sirens, all of these motherfuckers, man. Right? They were all engineered by Esau via entertainment, television, pop culture, and your peers. The stuff they put in the music, the stuff they put in the movies, the stuff they put on TV engineered who you are. Okay? This is by design. And it's going to blow up in his face. Alright? Just wanted to get a quick one in, man. Alright? With that, I want to give all infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harikak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who rule and teach well unto the other Akim out here pushing the truth into the four winds. Keep pushing, Akim. We almost out of here, man. Until next time.